finding non-Article 4 areas, which I always source for clients outside of Manchester, but close enough to getting on the action and the ripple effect, you're still going to get very good rents. You can turn it into HMO if you want, and all you do is wait for Article 4 to kick in and you've got a valuable asset. Guys, I am live from the Northwest, a HMO deal, which is one of my own actually, but I just want to talk you through the numbers, what I buy for clients, and then show you around the site. Sorry about the noise, we're on a live site, but let's get into the numbers. And this is a typical deal, but I'll tell you why I took it, and I'll tell you why and what we get for clients as well. So I'll be open and transparent with you about that, guys, because I'll be honest with you, this is not a typical deal. I was relatively lucky to find it, but more importantly, I'll show you why it doesn't suit everyone. Okay, so purchase price, I managed to get this for 133,500. Now, on the viewing, there was multiple people looking for this property. Why did I get it? I bid the most, as simple as that. I didn't even know the agents. Actually, I bought off them before, but they still, that didn't really matter because it was like 7 years ago. There was multiple people, there was Hong Kong buyers. The house stunk when you came in. There'd been pissing and dogs and stuff like that, so that put a lot of people off. There was a bit of planning permission, there was a few unknowns about that. I just swooped in, it's in my area, and I've made a cash offer and I got it. Okay, 133,000. What was the day one value, guys? The day one value is 150,000. And that's just going off comparables in the area. As I said, I've got other properties in the area. I've done many around here, so I know. I mean, this is a little bit further out, but roughly, you can't go wrong at 150. I had one ensuite 3-bed HMO valued at 180. I've got others valued at 220. I know I can't go wrong at 150, the lower of that, 150, okay. And there's comparables sold as well, non-HMO. Okay, so day one value 150. What is the value after refurb? So this property had been half refurbed, and people don't like that. It actually puts a lot of buyers off. I love that. I can see the mistakes, where they've been made, why the sellers left it. I actually made friends with the seller. He's got a large portfolio, lives in Spain. I've referred to it in my previous videos, guys, so click on the channel links for that video. The after refurb value is 180k, I think, roughly, as non-commercial valuation, but as a 3 or 4 bed HMO, and it's an Article 4 area, and I'll go into that in a minute. I think is 180. Okay, now it's not an exact science, it might get downvalued, it might not, but I think is 180. I don't do commercial valuations, guys, and the reason is, I don't want this valued at 250, because it's unrealistic for the type of property in the area, and I don't really operate my portfolio like that. I don't need to. I make enough cash every month to fund the portfolio. I'm on, when it's full, over 60k a month, okay? So I don't really need to be trying to get this valued at 220, 230 when it's not in a prime area, just to fund the portfolio, because ultimately that's dangerous. It also increases your monthly expenditure on the mortgage interest rates. I can afford to have this house empty at the moment. But if the mortgage was £800 a month on a commercial val, because of the borrowing amount, it would be more risky. Not to say that this will stay empty. We've got people for this already. But that's just the way I run my portfolio. Other people, other property guys do like to use the most leverage because their cash flow is quite low, or they have other investors to pay off, and they'll borrow more and more. But I see that as a risk personally. I want as many low mortgages as possible, so it doesn't really matter if they're empty or full, although we're always quite full. Saying that, last month I had 4 empty houses, so that just shows you can't always predict, and this is a prime city centre location, guys, so you can't always predict the market, so don't over leverage. What was the refurb cost? So I'll show you around in a minute. Right, we have in-house builders, guys. They are job after job after job for me, okay? They're basically on a monthly salary, £4,000. Okay, the labour was less than that. It took them a week, probably like 3 to 5 days. And the materials. Okay, so that was, and I've got trade suppliers for everything. I get the best prices you could imagine, guys. I get the best payment terms. No one else gets that. I can assure you, I've been doing this 15 years. My suppliers have been with me that long in terms of bathrooms, carpet, etc., etc. So that was £4,000. And there's still a bit to do, to be honest, with the compliance, with the fire doors adjusting, but that goes to a different agency and they invoice me for that. But the caveat is, they invoice me when it gets licensed. We're talking like 500 quid. Okay, just a few slight adjustments, and I get them to do it, not my builders, because they take the liability and they get the license. So 4,000. Now, how much would it cost if I source this for a client? You can, if the client went to on the market builders, that would probably be 10 to 15k. Okay, so still not too bad, but I'll talk you through the figures now and why I look for typically more meatier deals for clients. So if I was to flip this to an investor, and there's plenty out there that want to buy this property actually, on the open market, not my clients, but even my clients, but let's be honest with you, okay, 180k, I'd sell it for. You might get me at 170, whatever. 133,500 purchase price, 4k refurb. Bear in mind this was already half done by the previous owner. He'd already rewired it, he'd already done the fire doors, he'd already done the kitchen, and the bathroom he's slightly adjusted. We just had to paint and finish off what he didn't do. £42,500 profit. Is that good? Yes, it's good. But why am I not selling? One, it's a key area. Two, it's in the northwest. Massive capital growth. And three, most importantly, I use leverage. So when I bought it, I borrowed 75%. I borrowed a bit more, but I'll do it on 75%. I borrowed 75% of 133. Let's call that 100k. So I put £33,000 deposit. My new mortgage will be 75% of 180k, which is 135k on the mortgage. I'll then pay back the 100k mortgage, bridge. I use this bridge, sorry. So I'll have 35k roughly, give or take a couple of grand in fees, but let's just keep it simple, 35k in the bank. Okay. My deposit was 33,500. So I pretty much got all money out. Okay, obviously it's not all money out when you consider stamp duty, a grand or 800 quid legal fees, etc. But pretty much, I'd say that's as close as you can get to all the money out. So why would I sell it for £42,500 profit when I can retain the asset and get all my money out? Now the key is my rental income on this one as a HMO is 4 rooms times £600 a room market rate, which we're getting everywhere else. These are quite big rooms as well, so it's quite nice. £2,400 a month, minus your bills, minus your mortgage. You're probably looking at 1,500, if not a bit more profit. That's with bills, management fees to our mate's estate agency, so we all get rich together. About £1,500 a month, okay? So that's useful income, every month clean profit, £1,500 plus pretty much all my deposit out. Why am I going to sell it? But the key thing is, guys, the Northwest is probably, in this area, 20% capital growth a year, 10 to 20%. That's in this area. In the UK, it's above inflation, but in this area, in the Northwest. Now, the other thing is, guys, it's an Article 4 area, so you can't even buy HMOs anymore. They don't give licenses. You can't even, the council are anti-HMO, so it's very hard to even get an architect to put a planning permission in to convert an existing house into a HMO. So that's an even better reason to keep it. Now, this already had prior use. I've got the contract from the council. It's rare to find. They were paying the rent, so they can't really turn around and say it wasn't. They might still try, but I'm prepared to fight it all the way because at the end of the day, I've got a contract from the very same council who took this on social housing. Plus, I've got a stat dec, statutory declaration from the ex-seller, etc., proof of rent payments. So this should be fine. As I said, it's very hard to find another one. That's why I bought this property, okay? Now, guys, I am actually finding for my clients similar deals. And in fact, sometimes there's bigger profit. There's a bigger difference between the purchase price and the day one value. So, as you can see, the purchase price 133, the day one value is only 150, so it's like 20 something grand. Obviously, I had to do a refurb. Now, this wouldn't be ideal for clients because to get to this figure, they'd have to probably spend 10 to 15k, if not more, because they haven't got the relationships with the contractors, etc. Plus, it probably wouldn't be a HMO because it's very hard to find HMOs for sale at under market value. I'll be open and honest with you. I can source HMOs but they're best off in non-Article 4 areas where we're buying for clients in the northwest towns, which will soon be Article 4. It's very hard to get one in Article 4 area which a landlord wants to sell for below market value. The only reason I got this is because the owner is very, very wealthy, owns factories, supplies Zara, etc., etc., and is not really bothered about property, and he doesn't live here, so he can't control it. He can't even do a refurb, as we can see from this property. So that's how I got it. Now, am I finding deals like this for clients? Yes. Typically non-HMOs. How do I get the discount? They're usually rented. It's usually landlords who are exiting the market, can't be bothered to get rid of tenants, don't have to deal with paperwork, they're selling it, and we're typically actually getting at least 20k off, even on 100k purchases. I'll drop some example deals now, which we've done recently, completed on free recently. We supply traders as well. But it does take that bit longer to find HMOs, to be honest. The good news is I can get you a property potentially in the next 90 days, which is, let's say, 120, worth 150, 160, already rented, under rented, we have to put the rent up or evict, and you don't even need to do this refurb, okay? So then all you do is you remortgage it after 6 months, pull out the equity and go again. If you're buying in non-Article 4 areas, which I always source for clients, outside of Manchester, but close enough to get in on the action and the ripple effect, you're still going to get very good rents. You can turn it into HMO if you want, and all you do is wait for Article 4 to kick in and you've got a valuable asset. We don't rely on commercial valuations. We don't rely on 100k refurb costs. Most of my clients are wiser not to spend that kind of money on property because they can split that 100k into 4 deals with me. We don't do joint ventures. We don't do anything like that. It's very plain. Buy a property below market value, do what you need to do, remortgage it, and go again. It's simple as that. If you want maximum rent, you go to social housing, you put some fire doors on, do HMO, do to Airbnb. There's so many different operators. I never advise a client to buy a property which doesn't have multiple options. So I'll say, can it be rented to professionals? Can it do Airbnb? Can we give it to social housing? If all those boxes are ticked, can we trade it on? Can we sell it on the open market? If all those are ticked, tick, we'll buy it. We're aggressive when we buy. If a client doesn't, I've got a list of clients, if they don't want it, I'll go to somebody else, I'll go to trade it, I'll even buy it myself, guys. So that's how I operate. Let's have a look at this property and show you around and show you what happens when you do a cheap refurb. So that's 4K. Okay, so guys, I've got a revaluation booked in on this. So I need to make sure, and the schedule of works, which I'll put on screen now, which obviously I haven't put in the schedule of works, I've spent 4K on it. I've put the market rates, which the bank are fine with. I've put the market rates, which they would ring up a contractor and that would be quoted. So it's obviously 10 to 15K, not 4K, and all the scheduled work on screen now. But things like this, which I haven't checked with the builders, things like that up there, all need rectifying. We're not too bothered about the bad paint job, that could be better. This is like stage 1. Now I have to come in, see it with my own eyes and do it again. There's still things left to do. The bathroom needs a new toilet and thing, but we're getting there. This room looks pretty bright, pretty all right. We're getting there. We've done a very basic job. That wall's still Artex, but at the end of the day, guys, when I get new carpet in, put the furniture in, if it looks like a HMO, it's got a license for HMO, it is a HMO. So that's what it is, and it looks like it's been touched up. It's been touched up. Now, you have to have proof of payments, etc. The other thing is, guys, I'm going to have it valued when it's rented. As I said, it won't be a HMO valuation, but it will take into account that it's an Article 4 area, and that has a little increase on the value. I'll just take you around. So this is like stage 1. I come in, typically on refurbs, the spotlights look nice, all the fire stuff's in. Which was there before. So guys, that would have cost like a couple of grand in itself, but the previous landlord had already done that, which was quite strange. It's also been fully rewired. It's also been fully rewired, not by me. So that will pass straight away. HMO standard. It's got emergency lighting. It came with a washing machine, a fridge, a kitchen that didn't need touching, UPVC windows. It's all pretty good. You've got another room here. We had to put this here to hide the wall because we didn't want to touch this and let the plaster crumble. This carpet needs changing. We've even left stuff like this in. We're just going to decorate out with a picture. Guys, I know the value already. I don't need to do more, right? that was a really bad problem that put a lot of people off. So we've done that. Carpet needs changing, the smell's gone. So we're getting there, guys. And another room, room 1. So that's 4 rooms, guys. Now, I'll tell you in a minute. We don't even need to change the carpet here. Look at this, look at the size of this room. 600 all day long. Once I've done it nice, 600, put some wall art on, got a lock. Now, guys, if we give this to social housing, some of them are exempt from the space standards in this area. So they can use 4 rooms. If we do it ourselves, we can only use 3 rooms because of the HMO licensing. But 3 rooms at 600 is still 1,800. It will drop my profit a bit, and I might put the rent up to 650, 675 to compensate. And this would be the communal room. But we might be able to get an exemption. We might be able to get an exemption because the rooms are so big. We might be able to get an exemption about not having a communal space. I mean, I could probably put a table there. I've done that somewhere else and got away with it. So that's it, guys. Still need to do a bit there. Box that off. I don't want a surveyor seeing that, really, next door. I think they're refurbing it. But for £133,500 in the northwest, pretty close to Manchester, I won't tell you guys where it is because clients only get that information and there could be competitors watching this. I think it's pretty good. I'm not even that bothered if I don't get all my money out, to be honest, because it'll make me 1,500, if not more. And every year the price is going up 10 to 20%, and it adds to my portfolio. I get some money back on this. I put it to a next property and we carry on. I'm not buying I don't mind buying properties that only make £600 a month. I have got a lot of them, but also it's nice to have these ones that make a bit more. So that's it, guys. I'll update you when it's finished. I'll drop keep subscribed to this video and I'll show you the actual valuation report, which no other person puts on the screen. And I'll show you when it's rented. Do me a favour, like, comment, subscribe, share this with any property landlords, anyone who wants to get into property, any existing landlords who want to grow their portfolio. And help me out as well and bring you all this knowledge. Just like and subscribe. And guys, if you want to work with me, if you want our source, if you want our advice, if you just want to chat, yes, in the comments, send you a free investment guide which shows you everything that I do, properties I'm sourcing, deals that worked, existing clients, repeat clients, some people you may even know. Let's get it, guys.